Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are joining us from. We are here today with Jared Kastner and Michael Zabarski. Good afternoon, gentlemen. How are you doing?
Doing great,
Doing
Scott.
great. Yeah. How are you
Awesome.
today?
I'm great. I'm excited to learn all about Blacksmith Infosec today, what you guys do, who you are, and how you got started. But before I ask those key questions, I want to ask, where is everybody located in the US?
Yeah, we are
Well,
about as far away from each other as we can be. Uh, I'm just outside of Washington, D.C., dealing with all the federal government nonsense.
Oh no. Is we're
uh,
still shut down, I assume.
We're
I hadn't
still
heard any
shut down.
different. Oh
We're still
wow.
shut down.
All
we
right.
are still shut down, but I'm out in San Francisco where we are dealing with a different form of federal government chaos. Uh, but Mike and I have known each other for more than 30 years now. We actually grew up on the East Coast. We went to middle school and high school together, so we've known each other for an awfully long time.
Okay.
And he just can't get rid of me. I'm like a cancerous growth that, yeah.
So who is having the best weather today? I'm in South Carolina and it's sunny and 74 today.
You win.
You win.
I win. All right. What? Well, Michael,
I got sunny and 62 here.
yeah, I was going to say if you're a little up north, I know it's a little cooler.
Yeah.
But I had no idea about San Francisco weather. So
Yeah. Right
I'm
now
I'm
I've
sure it's
got
beautiful.
it's about sunny and 58 right now, so just slightly cooler, but we're in for some rain this weekend. So
All right.
enjoy the sunshine while I can get it.
There you go. There you go. Well, I've got a hammock in my backyard, and at the end of the day, I'm going to go lay in it and enjoy the beautiful South Carolina weather. Awesome. So, listen, I wanted to go and circle back to what we just talked about, Blacksmith Infosec. So, tell us about Blacksmith Infosec, how you guys got started, and how exactly you can help MSP owners.
Yeah, I'm going to answer those questions a little out of order for you here.
All right.
So how did we get started? Through a series of poor life choices is the short.
I love it. Well, at least you're honest.
Yeah, no, look, Mike and I grew up thinking we were going to be in computers, and certainly that was the trajectory that we took. And Mike started off his career kind of doing the traditional IT route, network technician into sysadmin, and then managing teams, and kind of fell into cybersecurity and compliance by accident along the way, or by hook or by crook along the way. He was a vCISO for a number of years. I came also through technology, but more on the software development side. So I've built and run or software organizations at fintech, health tech, and gov tech companies. I've been in Silicon Valley for the last 15 years now, as CTO of healthcare companies, things like that. Um, and I can remember the first time I had a MasterCard called me, I don't know, 10 years ago saying, "Hey, we're interested in this partnership. How do we need to look at your SOC 2 report." And I was like, I mean, I can see my two SOCs right here. Is that what you're looking for? No, 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 we need the SOC 2 attestation. So I called Mike, who he was my phone a friend at the time, and I said, "Hey, Mike, you're a CISO. What's a SOC 2 and how do I get one?" He laughed at me and said, "Oh, what a naive question, right?" And so um, he helped me kind of navigate the SOC 2 journey the first time, and then I did it again as I moved into other fintech and health tech companies going through SOC 2 and HIPAA compliance and things like that. Well, 2 years ago, Mike and I were, again, poor life choices. We ended up at startups that, when they filed Chapter 11, that's not a good place to be. And so, we were both looking for work around the same time, and going through as we're going through the interview process, we said, all right, everywhere we're talking to wants us to come in and build another security program from the ground up. The CEO and CFO both said, yeah, we're not interested in paying for that. We're going to pay for your time, but we need you to do this essentially on a shoestring budget. And we said, why are we going to do this? Like, we've done this to ourselves over and over again, where we've had to do all this crap manually, and it's a pain in the neck. And we're going to be fighting our internal stakeholders to get this across the finish line. Why don't we build some software, even if the only people who ever use the software are the two of us? Like, let's make the software that would have made our lives easier for the last 10 years. And so that's exactly what we did. And we started showing it to some friends, and they all said, this is really cool. Can we pay you for that? Aha, yes, I would love it if you paid me for this. Like, people months, I would love that. And so we started getting some paying customers. Um, we built like a stupid simple process for companies to navigate the compliance journey. And it starts with saying what you're going to do, doing it, and then proving that you did it, right? So saying what you're going to do is writing the policies. All right. Well, it was so simple that even the non-technical CFOs at all these companies could write security policies in a flash and say, great, I've got written security policies. That's step one. Now I need to go do this. Well, those security policies turn into a compliance roadmap that says, here are the things you need to do. Um, Number one, enforce MFA. Well, Scott, I can't enforce MFA. I don't have access to my Office 365 admin console. My MSP has it. Okay, well, ask your MSP to enforce MFA for you. And the MSP started logging into this and saying, holy cow, you have convinced my clients to help or to get started on the compliance journey with software that they're willing to pay for. Now they understand the value of these things that I'm trying to get them to enforce MFA for years, and now they're actually taking that step to go do it. Like, and they really like using your software. How do I do this for the rest of my clients? And we said, aha, light bulb. And
Yep.
so this was about 18 months ago. We pivoted. We've been channel only ever since. And built in the multi-tenancy and the white labeling and all the things that an MSP needs to be successful to deliver compliance services into their customer base. Um, really with the idea of how do we make something that is so stupid simple that the non-technical CFO wants to use it, that is affordable enough that the non-technical CFO who doesn't understand the value of compliance says, you know what, this is actually worth it to me from a cost standpoint. Like I can afford this, and it's going to lower my risk profile and make my business stronger and more secure. And the MSPs like to use because it integrates into the PSA and the tools that the MSP is using, right? And so that's really been our bread and butter for the last year and a half is focusing on that niche of something that is so easy and user friendly that the end clients love it and want to be in there and using it, is a priced affordably, and is geared with the integrations that make it an MSP be successful.
So would it be fair to say then Blacksmith Infosec is a compliance as a service company and offering?
Yeah, maybe I should have led with that. Yes, we're in the Look at that. Scott, you want a job in marketing?
Well, I kind of do that a little bit in my own way. So yeah, that's perfect. Perfect. So well, I don't know many other companies offering compliance as a service for MSPs. So I think that is a beautiful thing. And I'm excited to learn more about it. I hear you guys just got back from some of the trade shows. Did you just what trade show did you just get back from?
We just got back from DattoCon. We had a good time there, get to know the folks, and honestly, it was great. We didn't even know some of our partners were going to be there, and so it was awesome having them come up to our booth and say hi to us. We're getting ready for IT Nation Connect in a couple weeks, so looking forward to that one as well. We will be hard to miss. For those of you who haven't seen us at trade shows before, we are loud, and this time around we're going to be even louder. Literally speaking, we're bringing a blacksmith with us to IT Nation Connect. Heard it here first, folks. We will have an anvil on the showroom floor with blacksmith hammers, and so
That's
we're there
awesome.
to have a good time and make some noise.
Awesome. Well, what is the key takeaway from the past event you just attended? What is the number one key takeaway that you learned from there that you heard from MSPs that you can really come in and help with?
Yeah, there are a couple of other competitors out there, right? We're not the only ones in the compliance as a service game, but the thing that resonates the most with our partners is just how user-friendly our platform is. And I don't just say user-friendly from the MSP standpoint, I mean user-friendly from the end client standpoint, right? We built the platform for that end client initially because at the end of the day, Scott, you can't own the risk for your clients. They have to own their own risk. You can help them manage that risk, but they have to own it. And if they don't love the platform and they're not actively logging into the platform, then it doesn't matter what it could be the best MSP focused platform out there. But if your clients aren't logging into it and owning their own risk, it does you no good. And so this is the thing that over and over again we heard at every one of the shows we've been to over the last 6 months. Our partners come up to us and they say, "Yeah, look, we looked at every one of the tools out there. You are the ones that my clients are most willing to log into and use, and that's where I get the most value out of this."
Very cool. Very cool. So I've got kind of a crazy question to ask you about compliance as an MSP business owner. Not all clients require compliance. So I know that was kind of a tongue twister, but my question is for those clients who do not require compliance, w- would it make sense to onboard them into if you were already using as an MSP Blacksmith InfoSec? would it make sense to onboard a non-compliancy client into the platform? How would you guys be able to help that client?
So, first of all, I would say there is a strong possibility that that client who believes that they don't have any compliance requirements does actually have compliance requirements. And
Okay.
so there's another tongue twister that I've said more times than I care. Right. And so anybody who takes credit card payments is required to be PCI compliant.
Mhm.
Auto dealerships with FTC safeguards. New York State has state level compliance requirements. Massachusetts has state level compliance requirements. Tennessee, right? States are starting to adopt state level compliance requirements. If you're in healthcare, there's HIPAA. If you might have contractual
Well, I would
obligations
say
like
there's
SOC 2, right? So you have all of these different frameworks that are out there. So there are some sometimes surprising compliance requirements that your end clients might not even be aware of. So that's the first piece is that actually there probably is some level of compliance that they are required to think about.
Okay.
At the same time, at the end of the day, these compliance frameworks are really better thought of as risk management frameworks. How do we reduce the risk of your business, right? I can't take it to zero. I can't help you. I can't ever make you hack proof or bulletproof. But what I can do is help you reduce your risk profile so that you are less likely to be hacked. And Mike hates it when I use this analogy, but there's that old joke of two guys out hunting in the woods or walking in the woods and they come across a bear. And one of them bends down to tie his shoes, and the other one says, "What are you doing? You can't outrun the bear." He says, "I don't need to outrun the bear. I just need to outrun you." Right? The same thing is, in a lot of ways, the same thing is true about security, right? If your MSP, if your clients are more secure than the person next to them, if you don't have those vulnerabilities that are like super easy, right? If you don't have the script kiddies going out there and scratching, like your clients will often say, "Oh, I'm too small. People don't care about me." You know what? You're right. They don't care about you. They're not going out and actively targeting you, but what they are doing is they're doing this kind of spray and pray approach. And if they see something that looks interesting, they say, "Oh, I found something. Let me go scratch at that." And they don't care if they do a $3 million ransomware request on you. They don't care if you pay it or not. At the end of the day, if they get one or two people to pay it, that makes their entire year, right?
Right.
So they don't care whether you pay it or not, and they don't care if
And
you go out of business or not. They do not care, right? They're not going after you because they care about you. They're going after you because enough people will get become victims that they'll make their nut, right?
so, I've often heard that from clients many times over. I'm too small. Nobody's going to go after us. We don't have anything. But, I always try to inform them that, hey, at the end of the day, you're just an IP address. They don't
Yep.
know you can't decode an IP address to how much monetary value is there.
Yeah,
Yep.
Scott, one of the conversations I have with clients is like, sure, you're too small, no one's targeting you. Do you lock your front door at night?
Yep.
Why? No one's targeting you. Oh, because you don't want some random person walking into your house? Same idea, right?
Yep. Absolutely. Same idea. All right. Well, are you going to demo the platform for us? Because I am super excited to see how easy this is for MSP owners.
Yeah, no,
Yeah. And
absolutely.
Mike, I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Excellent. I'm going to share my screen here once I figure out, there we are. That should be the right window you guys can see.
Yep.
Cool. We even
Perfect.
white labeled this for you, Scott. So there you
I
go.
see that.
Um, so when you log in as as the MSP account, the first thing you're really going to do is configure your white labeling. So
Okay.
upload your logos, the application names, however you're talking to your clients about this, right? If it's the ITBOG compliance platform, all the emails will have that in there. So
Okay.
again, just enabling you to own your own brand. And then in here, you can see at a high level what's going on with your client base. And we're going to come back to this once we do a little bit of work in this client so you can see how that's reflected at the MSP level.
Okay.
So when you add a client, it's very straightforward. Company name, admin first name, last name, and email address. You're already inviting the end client admin into the platform. Again, this whole platform is built around the fact this is co-managed and you cannot own this on behalf of the client. When you go into the client, the very first thing you're going to want to do is fill out the company profile. We need information about the company. And so in here, you're going to do their name, some primary, secondary colors, a logo. Ooh, let me see what I have that I can upload really quickly as the logo that this I did not prep for. Let's see here. I will do our Misty signature. There we go. How's it going?
This is the podcast that we host also about cybersecurity and compliance, Scott. So
Cool.
good logo for us to throw in there. So if anybody's
Yeah.
blacksmithinfosec.com/ask if you want to ask any questions about cybersecurity and compliance and have those show up in one of our future podcast episodes.
Very nice.
So here you can decide whether the end client users are going to acknowledge each policy individually or just the acceptable use information security policy.
Okay.
We have a little bit of lightweight training built in. We're not looking to compete with like the know befores or the breach secure nows of the world. We want to make sure every client has some level of training.
Okay. So that's built in as well.
That is. What industry the client is in, what kind of compliance requirements you're trying to achieve. Again, whether you're trying to baseline them at CIS IG1 to begin with and then grow their security program, or if you're trying to do HIPAA right away, etc. Next is who owns the security program, and this goes back to you cannot own the security program for your clients. So it needs to be the executive sponsor that can enforce the changes within the organization to say, yes, we're actually going to do this. Whether or not they have physical office space, what they're doing for bring your own device, and if they're a 365 or a Google shop. And once you do that, you can go ahead and click save.
Okay.
Now, once you've created the company profile, you'll notice the rest of the platform has opened up and you can hop over to the policy admin. And so when Jared was talking originally, Scott, remember he said we wanted a non-technical CFO, COO to be able to stand up a security program, write their policies.
Sure.
So the way we achieve that is by not letting them change policies that they shouldn't be, or in a way that they shouldn't be able to change them. So all of our policies are written to be aligned to whatever compliance frameworks you chose in the company profile. We've also added these callouts here. And again, this is going to start at end user awareness education. So here you'll see things like lock your computer, and here it'll be like, hey, you can do that by hitting the Windows key and L and pressing the Mac fingerprint button. You'll assign the policy owner. The policy owner is always going to be, again, inside the organization. And anything that's actually editable within the policy, there's a variable for. And so each of the variables has a view in the policy link. If you click it, it'll scroll to where it's being used and highlighted for you. So here you can see AI use is set to limited use. So we've got things like limited use of AI is allowed with written approval. You're responsible for whatever nonsense AI spits out, some acceptable uses and unacceptable uses. And then as you're working with your client, you can say, hey, do you guys want to prohibit it, leave it as limited use, or just allow it? If we change this to prohibited and save the draft, you'll notice the policy language completely changes to don't use AI, don't plug into AI, don't submit company data into AI. And
Wow.
so
Very
this
cool.
really enables you to roll out policy sets. They're always going to be aligned to the frameworks that you're trying to align to, and it becomes scalable and repetitive for you.
Nice.
I do one more policy really quickly. Access control policy. Again, how often are we disabling inactive accounts, session lockout, session termination, unsuccessful login attempts? And because we chose HIPAA, it's going to ask us for a healthcare clearinghouse. And we're sending it off for review to the client. So at this point, for these two policies, our job is done here. Now, I'm going to hop out for a second and log back in as the client to approve the policies to continue the workflow.
Okay. That was super easy.
We did our best to make it as easy as we could. So your client is going to be prompted to review and approve policies. Here, they can either just accept your word for it and check the click the check mark, or they can go in, review the policies. If they want to change any variables, they can. Again, it's their policies, they own them, and then they click approve. Now, as they approve the policies, a couple things happen. The first one is their compliance roadmap starts getting built out. So all the stuff that we need to do to get them to compliance gets pulled into here. So this becomes your project management piece where hey, here's the tasks we need to complete. We currently have integrations with Halo and ConnectWise. And so if you're using those PSAs, this can actually be mirrored into the PSA as an IT project. And that way all your techs can work out of the PSA. You can do all your billing more easily and just operationalize this process a little bit more. And we're working to build other integrations to other PSAs.
Nice.
But in here, you can assign the task to someone either inside the company or to you as the MSP, assign a due date, add any notes you want to add. And then whenever you complete a task, you can upload evidence here and mark it off as complete. So as you go through and you complete these tasks, what happens? Well, the risks associated with those tasks become close out. So right away, they have a risk register that talks to them about all their compliance risks. The risks that are associated with the tasks that are completed go down to 0 risk and fully mitigated. And everything else, you can just work as a risk with your client. Maybe it's accepted or mitigated, really depending on whatever's going on. The other nice thing about this is you can start having risk-based conversations with your client, talking to them about their organizational risk. So, what are their financial risks, operational, strategic risks? And that really enables you to then slot in and say, hey, I know you told me you're concerned about this operational risk. Guess what? I can put in this new technology, new process, new whatever to limit that risk and help you operationalize your business more. Oh, cool. Now you're no longer solving IT issues for me. Now you're solving business issues for me. Guess what? You just became a lot stickier with that client.
Yeah. You're not just a printer guy.
Exactly. If there's an
There's nothing
incident,
wrong with printer guys, by the way. I like printer guys. Just so we're clear.
They have a lot of patience.
Yeah.
you do.
PC load letter. Come on.
Tracking the whole incident response team, right? So if anything happens, who do you reach out to? Cyber insurance, forensics, PR, your MSP will be your IT primary contact. But having all that handy and ready so that if something happens, you know how to reach out to people.
Okay.
Also, we pre-populate all the regulatory requirements for notification for you. So here we chose HIPAA, so it's going to give you all the HIPAA requirements. So again, if there's an incident, you're not scrambling trying to figure stuff out. You're able to respond. And at the bottom, you're able to add any contractual requirements that you have. So if you have a contract with a company, let's say you're trying to do CMMC 800-171, and your parent contractor says, hey, if you have an incident, you have to email us at security@lockheedmartin.com within 72 hours. A lot of times people have incidents, and they don't even recognize they need to do that, and they end up in breach of contract. So again, working with your clients to say, hey, let's go through your contracts. And you're not a lawyer, Scott. You don't need to, you might be a lawyer, I'm not sure.
No, I'm not.
I like him too much for him to be a lawyer. Come on, Mike.
But you don't need to do that review on their behalf, but you can prompt them to say, hey, go work with your legal team, get all these clauses out of your contracts, get them into here. So if there's an incident, you're mitigating your risk. Also, there's tracking their whole supply chain, right? So you can add vendors here, how critical the vendor is to their business, do some sort of risk evaluation, whether it's SOC 2 audit or ISO, or maybe it's a third-party risk management survey, tracking MFA for every single vendor. And the reason we do this is because we've seen too many times where, especially at SMBs, they'll turn on MFA for 365 and be like, cool, we're done. But your HR system and your accounting system and all these other systems, no. So again, just making sure, keeping those security best practices in mind. Keeping track of the vendor contacts, who owns that relationship. Again, whether if it's Microsoft, you might own that relationship for them, Scott, versus somebody inside the company. Once you've added the vendor, you can upload whatever documents you want, right? Contracts, security reviews, BAAs for HIPAA clients, MFA evidence, other if you need to put in something else. And you can put in an extra view date. And that way the system will prompt you when it's 30 days out, hey, you need to go and review this. So here we put this for due date of 10/30. So when we go back to vendors, you'll see there's a contract that's up for review on 10/31. And so,
nice.
and it really allows you to, again, enable their third-party and vendor risk management process. And also a lot of our partners that we're talking to are kind of helping, but they're helping them in some other system that the client has no access to. Like, yeah, we keep track of their vendors for them in our IT Glue instance. Okay, cool. That's nice. But the client has no visibility. And again, because this is co-managed, it enables the client to add stuff that you're not responsible for, so that it's all in one spot for them. Once you've added vendors, you can also add a business system, and the business system is going to be where, however, we track user audits. So for each business system, there's going to be a technical owner and a business owner. And the general idea is the technical owner will come in as the person that does all the like adds, removes, changes of permissions, and they will upload, hey, here's all your users, and send it to review for the business owner. And the business owner can come back to it, review it, and then they can acknowledge it and say, cool, it's been approved. Now we have immutable proof that we're doing our user audits. So again, a lot of the nice things about this are going through and saying, hey, here's all your users on a monthly basis from Microsoft at least. Is this correct? Oh, why is John in here? We fired John 2 weeks ago. Well, John's in here because you never told us you fired John. So now, again, now we're limiting their liability. We're lowering their risk. And also we're helping them because a lot of our partners have had these conversations as well, where it's like, hey, we've been trying to email John. He's not responding. What's going on? Oh, John's been gone for 6 months. Oh, great.
Because that happens often when clients will not let the IT provider know that we no longer have this person employed.
Yep.
Happens all the time.
It does. And the other nice thing about this is this doesn't have to be just for the business systems you're responsible for. Because I can tell you, Scott, as much as your clients suck at telling you when they offboard someone, they suck even more about offboarding them themselves. And so again, sitting down with the client and saying, hey, let's add your HR system, your accounting system, etc., and do the audit yourself. Assign John in accounting as the technical owner and Betsy in accounting as the business owner. Let John upload the users and Betsy approve it. Or again, catch people that have the wrong permissions or maybe they shouldn't be active anymore. We've had partners come back to us and say, hey, they just audited their accounting system. They had people that have been gone for years. So again, all goes back to saying, hey, I'm not here to just secure what I'm responsible for. I'm here to create a secure organization for you. The training wise, as I said, we've got general security awareness training and HIPAA training. We update them annually. We do want ideally for you guys to upsell them into whatever your standard training platform is, because we're not doing the phishing tests. We're not doing a bunch of other stuff that a Know Before, Breach Secure Now, FIN, etc. would do. And so, but we also want to make sure that they have something in place at least.
Sure. Very cool.
And then finally, everything gets bubbled up to their dashboard so they can see their progress towards compliance. They can see what's going on with their users. They can see what's going on with their policies. They can see their whole risk register heat map. They can see what's going on with their vendors, and anything that's wrong gets bubbled up to here. If they had a vendor with no BAA, if they had a vendor with documents to review, all this actionable intel gets bubbled up. All of this is clickable, so it will take you right to where you need to be. So it's very easy to navigate it for them. And the other piece about this is we've actually taken all the actionable intel in this dashboard and bubbled it up to your I don't know how I clicked that. Bubbled this up to your dashboard. So in here, again, you can see what's going on with your client, how many policies are approved in review or in draft, where they are in their compliance roadmap progress. Oh, they have a vendor missing MFA. Let's click that. Oh, it's Microsoft. Cool. Let's go talk to this client about making sure MFA is turned on, uploading evidence, whatever it happens to be. But it really gives you a very high level view of all your clients and what's going on with them without needing to drill into each one specifically. And then you can help them get more secure, more compliant.
Very cool. I've got to say one thing after watching that. It's a beautiful platform, but that is a fast platform. You obviously know what you're doing with it because you created it. But every time you click, it's just instant. There is zero lag, and I think that is so important in a software, especially a SaaS product.
Yep. And we're not hosted in AWS East 1.
Wow, that was a mess a couple days ago, for
Yeah.
sure. Well, very cool.
I've lived that mess before and refused to host in US East 1 as a result.
Understand. Well, thank you so much for the broad overview there of the platform. I'm super excited for MSPs to learn all about it. And so I have one last question for you before we wrap things up. If there is a IT business owner who has watched the show today and they are interested in learning more about Blacksmith Infosec, what is the best way for them to do that?
You can visit us at blacksmithinfosec.com. You can book a
Okay.
demo. That book a demo link goes directly to me and Mike. We're the co-founders of the company. We built the
Okay.
software. We know this stuff inside and out. So it's going to land in one of our inboxes, and you'll be talking to one of us if you book a demo. Um, you can shoot us an email at info@blacksmithinfosec.com. Again, that's coming directly to the founders here. We are deeply committed to making sure that we are talking to every MSP that comes through our doors, and that's part of who we are. So I'll put the link in the comments here. And then,
Perfect.
like I said, yeah, that we've got the Get Nisty podcast. We've got lots of different ways to keep educating the community. We wrote a book on how to sell compliance services and build a compliance program for not just for your clients, but also for your MSP. Because again, that NFR is there. So you're not just helping your clients become compliant, you're also building your own security program and improving your own security posture along the way.
That's awesome. I'm so glad you said that. That is a struggle, I think, for a lot of MSPs. It's like we can help everybody else but our own selves. So
Well,
very
and it's
important.
especially true if you're dealing with clients that are HIPAA clients, things like that. You have to have your own house in order to sign a business associates agreement with your HIPAA clients. And so,
Yep.
help yourself out and help your clients along the way.
Very cool. Well, tell us what the podcast is called one more time.
It's called Get Nisty.
Get
So if
Nisty.
you are you a Rick and Morty fan?
I haven't really tuned into Rick and Morty too much.
All right. Well, so it's a little bit of a take on the Get Swifty episode from
Okay.
Rick and Morty. So we've got kind of the Rick and Morty theme to the podcast, but it's really get your questions answered about cybersecurity and compliance. I'll drop a link to the podcast into the chat here also.
Okay.
And like I said, we're looking forward to talking to more of the IT Business Owners Group folks.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for taking the opportunity to come on and be a guest on the show today and talk about Blacksmith Infosec and how you guys are changing the compliance world for IT business owners. So thank you guys so much again, and we'll definitely do this again soon.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us, Scott.
Thanks.
Sounds great.
Always a
Thanks so much,
pleasure. Y'all
guys.
have a great day. See you.
You too.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.